How often do you think about God each day? And what would you be willing to do for Christ? Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Cook, and I am the pulpit minister for the Humboldt Church of Christ. And this is Sermon Snippets, where I take a passage or an idea from a recent sermon and I give it again in this way. If we look in our Bibles over to Luke, the 9th chapter, Jesus said there in verse 23, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow after me." If anyone desires to come after me. Well, if you're a Christian, then that's you. If anybody wants to be a disciple, a learner, a follower of Jesus, a Christian, if we are seeking spiritual and eternal life in Him, then this is talking about us. This is something that He teaches us we must do. And what is it that we must do? It says, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross. Let him deny himself. No one can be a true disciple of Christ who is not willing to deny himself, to put himself second, to have Christ first in his life, in everything. You can't keep self in first place and at the same time follow after Christ, because we must deny ourselves. Someone says, well, what if that gets in the way of having a particular kind of job? I want to have a certain lifestyle and I have to work this hard and do this much, and I want to be a CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization, or I want to have a big house, I want to drive a nice car, I want my kids to go to the best schools, I want to work on and pursue my PhD. Let me get this done first. Let me pursue these things first, these goals that I have for me, and then secondly, I will serve Christ. No, that's not the way it works. If we are going to follow after Him, we must deny ourselves. Well, let me get through a school first. Let me get married. Let me start a family. Let me start my career. Let me get this promotion. Let me do this or that or the other first. No, Christ comes first. It doesn't mean that those things are necessarily wrong or bad or immoral, but Christ has got to come first. If He can't come first and still do these other things, then we have to deny ourselves those things and follow after Christ. But what good is it to a person if he gains everything, even if he were to gain the whole world, but if he loses his soul? What good does that do him? It doesn't do him any good in the long run, ultimately. This life is very short. It's just a tiny little speck within the broader span of eternity. And many are living for right now, but what are we going to do when judgment comes? What about your soul? What about all of eternity that lies before us? For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, says verse 24, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and is himself destroyed or lost? Well, what if I am in an academic environment? Or what if I am writing in that environment? Or I am a university professor and I want to be accepted and respected and those kinds of things. And if I say I believe the Bible and all that it says, that might cost me. Well, it might. But let's keep reading. Verse 26, Luke 9:26, for whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels. It's not worth it to deny Christ, to try to save face with man, no matter who it is. If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Let him take up his cross. What does that mean? Back when Jesus was upon the earth, it was customary for the condemned to bear his own cross to the point or to the place of crucifixion. But Jesus was so badly beaten, so badly scourged, he had that cat of nine tails across his flesh with little bits of metal or little bits of bone in it that tore his flesh so that it hung from his body like torn rags soaked in blood. He had that crown of thorns placed upon his head and pressed down into his scalp. Jesus was a carpenter by trade. Normally it wouldn't have been a big deal for him to carry a piece of wood on his shoulders, but after all that he had been through, he just wasn't able to do it. Well, now he looks at you and he looks at me and he tells us to take up our own cross and follow after him. Our cross represents personal sacrifice, even to the point of death, whatever it takes, whatever it costs us to follow after him, we are to be willing to do that. He went to the cross for us. And now he looks at us and tells us to take our cross and follow after him and to live for him and to be a daily sacrifice for him. What if it comes between our money and Christ? Follow him. What if it comes between family and Christ, mother, father, son, daughter? Christ comes first. Follow him. We live in a land of plenty, of freedom, where it costs us very little, really, to take up our cross and follow after him. But would we be willing to take up our cross and follow him in Iran? Would we be willing to take up our cross and follow him in North Korea? If we don't even take up our cross and follow him here, where it costs us so little, what are the chances we would be willing to do it in some place like that, where it may cost us our lives? If anyone, he says, desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow after me. This is a daily endeavor. There's no pause button for when we go on vacation because we want to do other things. Which really, if we love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, strength, and mind, if we are repelled by sin, then we're not going to want to do those kinds of things anyway. Following after him isn't something that we do just for a couple hours, maybe on Sunday, weekly, or every other day even. But all the time, daily, 24/7, we are following after him. We have taken up our cross daily, and we are following after Christ. The Lord, or rather Satan, never takes a break. Peter said he's like a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter, 5 and verse 8. The Christian can't afford to say, well, I'm not going to worry about the devil today. I'm going to worry about him tomorrow, because he never stops. Also, God blesses us daily. Why will we not also serve him daily? If we look back at the book of Psalms, Psalm 68 and verse 19, it says, "Blessed be the Lord, who daily loads us with benefits, the God of our salvation." So there's daily Bible study, daily prayer, daily cross-bearing, daily evangelism, daily ministering, daily edifying and edification. Let us remember that if our physical needs are daily, then how much more are our spiritual needs a daily thing and need daily attention. Let us be willing to take up our crosses daily, denying ourselves, and follow after him consistently. Take care. God bless. Have a great day.